fade. Trevor Siemian leads the Saints to another win by more than the 6-point spread against the Falcons on Sunday.
Man, this game. I mean, division game between Atlanta and New Orleans with a backup quarterback. There's just so many question marks. I'm gonna fade it. Atlanta's looked decent enough for me to have a tiny bit of confidence in them here. I mean, the big thing is the way New Orleans plays. Yeah, they're dominant on defense, but you know if the offense just crumbles or if their defense just allows like 10 points, I mean, is Trevor Siemian coming back? Like, is this two-headed quarterback monster? Because I'm sure we'll see Taysom Hill. Is this two-headed quarterback monster capable of coming back? I just don't think that's possible. And you have Matt Ryan playing a little bit better. Kyle Pitts getting a little bit better as well, just in terms of his comfort level. You know, they've kind of like Ridley is away from the team. That's fine, but at least it's settled now. So I think they're going into this week a little bit more settled as a team. And you have the turbulence on the other side of the ball here. So New Orleans is by far the better team here. But I think a 6-point spread with Siemian, I think it's just a little bit inflated. I actually wouldn't be shocked if this came down more in the 5 range. So I'm going to fade it. I think Atlanta has a decent chance to at least cover here.
Pearce, are you going to fade this one too?
No, I'll chase it. It really has nothing to do with Siemian. I'm sure that Sean Payton's going to try to limit what Simeon's input is, and I don't even know how many series he'll play. We're probably going to see a healthy portion of Taysom Hill in this game, but really it comes down to the rush attack. Ingram and Kamara and the Saints defense. That's what's going to put them over. I know that the Falcons have looked good. I mean, basically every week except for week 1, but they didn't really look good last week. And what's the story here? They've played one of the easiest schedules in football. They've looked good against some really bad opponents. Last week, they ran into, I guess, an average team. I know Carolina got healthy last week. They added Stephon Gilmore. So they've improved, but no one's going to sit here and tell you that Carolina is a great team. And Atlanta was only able to put up, 13 points against them. Now they've got to face a Saints defense that's much more better. I just don't see the Falcons moving the ball or scoring. And the Saints, sure, we can worry about this offense, but if they're working with short fields for most of the game and they've got Ingram, they've got Kamara, they should be able to put points on the board.
All right, Chaser fade. The Titans can cover the 7.5 points on the road without Derrick Henry against the Rams. Pearce, what do you think?
I'm going to fade this. I mean, how many times have we been on here on a Monday and we talk about how great the Rams are? And how many times have we been on here on a Tuesday and debated whether the actual Titans are good or not? I know Geoff is much more bullish on the Titans than I am. I don't believe in them. Even when they had Derrick Henry, I'm not a big believer in this team. This offensive line is up and down. The secondary is up and down. Ryan Tannehill is up and down. They're just not very consistent. And the only knock against the Rams is that we're constantly holding them to the highest standards possible. We expect the Rams to be the best team ever every single week. It's pretty ridiculous. If we held them to normal standards, we wouldn't even have any doubts about this. The Rams are a much better team. They should cover this spread.
All right, Geoff, do you think the Rams are going to cover this spread?
I mean, my goal this entire year is going to be to make Pearce a believer in the Tennessee Titans. And hopefully, maybe this is the week, Jesse, where we can finally do it. We can finally get Pearce, Dietrich to say on the show that the Titans, they're actually a good team. They have a chance. I think this spread is ridiculous. No, I'm definitely chasing the Titans to cover here. Look, the Titans are 6-2 ATS this year. I mean, this is a team that does cover. And do you want to know why they cover? Because they always get underrated by smarty pantses like Pearce in the spread. I mean, Derrick Henry being out, obviously he's their best offensive weapon. He's
their only weapon.
He's not their only weapon. A.J. Brown is a weapon as well. He has tons of weapons all over the league. But A.J. Brown, healthy. Ryan Tannehill can still run the option with Jeremy McNichols back there, who's a decent all-around back. And again, yes, I expect the Rams offense to throw it around the yard here against the Tennessee secondary. But this Tennessee offense just continually gets underrated. They've got big play wide receivers. The Rams, where is their signature win this year? They beat the Colts by 3 points. Okay, they beat up on the Bucs early in the year. That's about it. But then they came back with like some losses to the Cardinals. So I don't know. The Rams are okay, but I think their defense here can still be had. I'm expecting a high-paced, fast or high-scoring game, and I do think that the Titans in the end, maybe they don't win this, but they make it close and they cover.
All right, chase or fade, Geoff. Jordan Love keeps it close against the Chiefs and covers that 7.5 point spread.
Okay, well, I'm going on the opposite direction here. I'm fading this 100%. You look, it's not just the Jordan Love factor too. Jordan Love is obviously a big factor. You look at this Green Bay defense. they have had some gift matchups here. 5 of their 7 opponents so far this year, they've been in the bottom 12 of just in terms of like average passing yards per game. They faced off against the Saints and the Bears, who rank worst and second worst in terms of passing offenses in the league. So this defense looks good on paper, but they're really inflated by their opponent here. And I think Patrick Mahomes and crew, they love this because Aaron Rodgers has just stolen the spotlight. The big story coming to this game is what is wrong with the Chiefs. The Chiefs just about lost to the Giants. They're playing bad. Now the story is the complete opposite. Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, the Chiefs are sitting home. They're going to come out here and lay one on the Packers, I think. And you also have the Jordan Love factor. I know that, they could run the ball like they did against Arizona, but I think the Chiefs are going to be more than ready for that. I'm fading Jordan Love being able to cover this on his own. I think the Chiefs just come out and score too many points.
Pearce, you fading Jordan Love?
No, I'm not fading Jordan Love. I'm chasing this. I mean, are we watching the same teams here? The Chiefs are terrible. You can say what you want about the Packers on paper. Well, guess what? The Chiefs are bad on paper and they're bad in real life. Their defense is terrible. We can all agree on that. The stats bear that out. We've seen it with our own eyes. Some people still don't realize that this offense doesn't look good either. Travis Kelce looked off last week. Tyreek Hill is up and down. Patrick Mahomes looks even more than off. This doesn't look like a comfortable quarterback back there. I mean, how many more chances do we have to give him? He's had plenty of soft matches. You want to talk about soft matchups? Look at what the Chiefs have faced. They couldn't win at home. They couldn't cover the spread at home against the Giants. They barely eked that game out, and it was thanks to some mistakes by the Giants. I don't know. Like, I get it. Jordan Love's a backup. We haven't seen him play much, but that offense around him is pretty solid, and I'm more than confident that he and the running attack are going to get this game taken care of.
All right, guys, let's move to the DFS side of the Sunday slate here. So which player are you chasing for a big game that could possibly break the slate, Pearce?
I'm going to stay right there with Jordan Love at 4,400 on Tuesday. Everyone on the price check loved Aaron Rodgers. He was the number one play in the number one spot. It was a no-brainer. We've played Taylor Heineke in this spot. We've played Daniel Jones in this spot. You can't play Jordan Love at 4,400 with better receivers, with a good rush attack that's going to diversify the options behind him. You don't need 30 points from this guy, right? He's half the price of Rodgers. You just need half the output. It's really not that hard. I mean, he can just basically throw the ball to Adams the entire game, and he's going to be a return of value.
All right, Geoff, what do you think?
Can Jordan Love complete a forward pass? That'll be an interesting question this Sunday. I'm going to a guy I loved last week, and I'm going back to Elijah Mitchell. I do not know why the DFS community is not getting around this dude. I mean, averaging 6.7 yards per carry over his last 2 games. He's playing 66% of the snaps, which is a really big share in a Kyle Shanahan offense. He's taking on the Cardinals, banged up, averaging 4.9 yards per carry against. Elijah Mitchell's 5,800, guys. Like, let's get on this train. He's probably not even going to be that highly owned. He's under 6K. So I really like him again for a big game.
All right, let's move on to which DFS play you're absolutely fading this week, Geoff. Who stands out to you as just a no-go?
So I'm going to stick with the running back position here. I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. Again, a player getting a ton of love. I know the usage is there, and he's kind of taken over as the lead role, but look, if you look across the board, every single Raiders player is going to be popular this week. Not all of them can go for 20 fantasy points. The Raiders are not good at running the football. Like, I know they're playing the Giants, but this has been a bit of a tumultuous week. The Raiders are not a good rushing offense. And ultimately, I think they just sort of fade back to trusting the pass here and getting Derek Carr probably to pull them out of a bit of a hole. The Giants are getting a little bit healthier too, so they could even take the lead here. I think if I'm investing in anyone here, it's probably Carr and Darren Waller. Again, you can't play every Raider, and Jacobs is projected as potentially the most popular of the bunch. So I'd fade Josh Jacobs here. Again, I think the spot calls for more Darren Waller.
All right, Pearce, what do you think? Which DFS player are you absolutely fading this week?
I'm going to fade another running back as well. Alvin Kamara is in a great spot against Atlanta. A lot of people are going to love playing this week, but I just have my doubts whether he can coexist with Mark Ingram in that backfield. I know it's worked in the past, but that was a different team. That was a Drew Brees team. That was a team that liked to pass. That was much more efficient. You could theoretically come up with the idea that, well, maybe Kamara is going to be, in the slot and line up as receiver more, and maybe that's how he's going to get his points. But this team doesn't pass. Third fewest pass attempts this season. And I imagine that's going to go even lower now with Winston out and with Simeon and Hill out there. They're one of the slowest paced teams. I think Ingram is going to get plenty of carries. He was on the team for what, 2 days last week, and he got 25% of the carries. That's going to increase this week, especially if Atlanta's playing with the lead. Sean Payton's going to try to give the ball to Ingram more, save Kamara for the more important games down the road. I worry about Kamara moving ahead.
I mean, I'd be more, and Ingram's a worry, but what about Taysom Hill? I mean, he could take over at halftime too. We know Kamara was brutal with Taysom Hill at quarterback last year. So I think it's a good fade. It's just, I'd be more worried about Taysom Hill.